Hey guys, welcome back to the video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to set up Cloudflare Spectrum and Cloudflare Load Balancer, and we'll be port forwarding port 22 for SSH, and that's all going to be done through Cloudflare, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and do the tutorial on how to set it up. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we are going to want to create a tunnel into our network, right? So we're going to go to Networks, Tunnels, and create a tunnel. Looks like I forgot to delete this one, so let me just delete it real quick and add it back just to show the whole flow here. So we'll create a tunnel, we'll select Cloudflare D, and we'll name it. We'll just name it Test, Save Tunnel. From here, we are going to choose our operating system that we want to install this on. So in my case, I want to put this on a Windows Server machine. So we'll go ahead and click Windows, 64-bit. And before I get into anything else, let me just give a little bit of an explanation here. You don't need to install this tunnel on the server that you want port forwarded or on the application that you want port forwarded, right? Say that you have 3 websites and you're hosting 3 websites from your home and it's all done over Cloudflare tunnels. As long as you have that tunnel into the network from which you want to port forward, you're good. So if you already have a tunnel that's into your network that you want to port forward, so in my case, my tunnel web hosting is already in the 10.0.0.0 network. So I don't need to create a new tunnel. But say I wanted to port forward something from, I don't know, like a different network like 192.168.1.0, right? Then I would want to create a network and install this connector on a server that is connected to the 192.168.1.0 network. If that makes sense, good. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, I don't know how else to explain it. So from there, we're going to go ahead and click this. This is going to install a executable onto your computer. So you're going to want to install that executable, and you're going to want to run that executable on the server that you want to create the tunnel on. Like I said, this doesn't necessarily have to be the server that you want port forwarded. You can totally do that if you just want to create this tunnel to port forward. However, like I said, it's up to you. So, like I said, this is just running on a Windows server. So, once you install that, you're just going to want to run that executable. Don't be alarmed when you run it. Nothing will happen when you run it, or so it looks like. It's literally just going to install some services, and it's not going to open up like a GUI or anything. Like you're not going to see anything. Once you install that, I would say like wait about 20 seconds, and then copy this. So just like click that copy button right there, open command prompt as administrator, and paste this huge command into command prompt and then hit enter. Once you do that, then it should say healthy on your tunnel. That should connect it to Cloudflare. I'm going to go ahead and delete this tunnel because, like I said, I already have one made. Once you create your tunnel and it says healthy, we are going to configure it. Let's go to private network. Let's go to add a private network, additional settings, manage virtual networks. From there, we are going to create a virtual network. I just recommend doing this so that way, like, you're not using the default one because it just says default. Give it something more descriptive. For example, home network, lab network. I have Radix Labs because my lab is on a separate network from the rest of the house. So just do that. So we'll go ahead and create a virtual network. Literally all it is a name. Make it a name, give it a description, set it as default if you want. I'm not doing that. Once you do that, you just hit save, and then you should have something that looks like this. If we look at the configuration for mine, you would see that it's literally just a name. There's nothing else. Once you've done that, we go back to networks, go back to tunnels, go back to configure, go back to private network, and we are going to want to add a private network. From here, you're going to enter your CIDR. For example, like I said, I have mine on my 10.0 network, so I'm just going to use Cloudflare's default, like right here, example, 10.0.0.0/8, and that works for me. But you might have a different CIDR depending on what network you have and what subnet you got. So just enter that. Once you enter your CIDR, you're going to go here to additional settings and then select the virtual network that you made. So I'll select Radix Labs, and then you'll hit save. Like I said, I'm not going to save because I literally have one created right here already. Once you've done that, we are done with Cloudflare Zero Trust. We can go ahead and go into the Cloudflare dashboard. So go ahead and go there. I'm going to select the domain that I want to do all this configuration on, set up load balancer and stuff. Next, from here, load balancer does cost money and Spectrum does cost money. So make sure you contact your Cloudflare enterprise sales or Cloudflare sales to get access to this stuff. So from here, we'll go ahead and go to traffic. And I would suggest turn on Argo Smart Routing if you have it. Um, if you don't, I don't know if it worked, but yeah, it should work. Next, we're going to go to load balancing. We're going to go and want to create a load balancer. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn off proxy through Cloudflare because we don't want this proxy through Cloudflare. And we're going to give it a public-facing DNS hostname. This is not going to be the domain that you access your thing from. For example, I'm not going to type in this domain and select PuTTY, for example, to access my Linux box. This is just a public-facing DNS hostname. So I'm just going to do SSH-LB. So, well, I typed that completely wrong, didn't I? SSH-LB. Dash LB, that's like my naming scheme that I like to give it. So the application dash load balancer dot domain, right? So that's how I have it set up. Next, I'll go ahead and hit next. We'll want to create a pool. We'll give it a name. We'll give it the endpoint server name. Why not? Oh, I've already done this before several times, but next we'll give it an endpoint IP address. This is going to be the IP address of the server that you want to port forward from. Like I said, I want to port forward SSH on port 22 on 10.0.0.11. So I'll go ahead and enter that IP address there. We'll set our virtual network to the one that we created in Zero Trust. We'll set the weight to 1. From there, we'll remove the second endpoint because we don't need it. Now we'll hit save. Now that we have our pool created, this is what you should see. There's our pool right there. So let's go ahead and hit next. Next. I like to leave all this default. I've never had an issue with any of these settings. However, make sure these are set to your configuration. I would just leave them default. So next. Next. Save and deploy. Once we're done, once we created our load balancer, we're going to want to go to Cloudflare Spectrum, create an application, and here you're going to select your application type, whether you're port forwarding, RDP, Minecraft, SSH, HTTPS, HTTP, UDP, TCP. They could do a lot, which is really freaking awesome. But I'm just going to do SSH. We're going to type in the domain. This is right here. What you enter here is the thing that is going to be used to access that SSH. So I'm going to type in ssh.radixd461labs.net. So if I want to access this Linux box, I'm going to go into PuTTY and type in ssh.radixd461labs.net. Your origin. This is what This is what you're going to set. You're going to set this to the public-facing DNS hostname that we created in the load balancer. That was ssh-lb.radixd461labs.net. So I'll go ahead and set that there. Like I said, this is just going to be on port 22. I will hit add, and we should have successfully created a port forward from Cloudflare into our network. So let's go ahead and test this out with PuTTY. We'll go into PuTTY, SSH. Let's try to access that Linux box that I port forwarded. ssh.radixd461labs.net, port 22, moment of truth. And it looks like it did work. Awesome. So I'll go ahead and log in here. I just entered the wrong username. Are you seriously going to make me do this? Okay. Well, as we can see, it works. There. There we go. So we are successfully SSH'd into my Linux box. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just leave them down in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer the questions that I haven't answered to. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know if this video was any helpful. Let me know on how I can improve. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.